Lumos. Nox. Lumos. Nox. Oops. Lumos. Nox. 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 Lumos. Nox. Nox. Primavera. Yes, it's my new wand from the new wizarding store called The Magic of Things. I found that them on Kickstarter, and this one has a little bit of a mind of its own, but I'm working it out. So I hope everyone have good holidays, good Yuletide, good New Year celebration. School, of course, was not in session during that time. Just to let you know, like any school, we have we usually have an episode or a class that will come out on the ether every Friday, generally. But sometimes we have wizarding teacher work days, or, you know, the knobbly gnomes cause trouble. And so once in a while, things like that come up, or holidays. And so anyway, but pretty much every Friday, we'll have some sort of class on the ether here for you. Today we are doing a knit along with me project, although it didn't exactly turn out right. But anyway, so yes, knit along with me. This is a second year project for those of you who already know how to knit. We are going to be looking at my Alchemy sweater and talking about how to take cross-stitch patterns and use them for knitting patterns, and how to make your own. Pretty soon we are going to have some primary preparatory classes for those of you who are getting ready to go to wizard school. You need to know some basic things, not just about magic, but about like how to make your own parchment and how to knit your own house scarf, and just things like that for those of you who are interested in having those extra wizarding skills, which can come in quite handy. So we will be answering questions, and knit along with me. If you have a knitting project, feel free to join in, and let's do some work together. Lumos. Nox. Ha! Okay, I gotta see if we can get some knitting done so that you can knit along with me. But I have a little bit of an issue here because somebody is in my lap. Are you gonna let me knit today? Okay, so I've been working on this Alchemy sweater, but I'm a little bit confused. I mean, the bottom looks really nice. We got some lacing. I don't know if you can see this. Some pretty lacing and all that. I ran out of the purple, so I'm using this bright yellow. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put some Alchemy symbols along the sleeve. But anyway, this pattern is very strange. For some reason, it had this hole. I'm working on the sleeve, but it had this hole in the armpit that I'm trying to stitch up. There was a big old hole at the armpit, and it's a cold shoulder sweater, so I have a place here for the shoulder, but what I can't figure out is what's with the rest of this neckline. Yeah, I don't think my shoulders and neck are as big as this. This isn't making a lot of sense to me. So I've got to figure out what the heck is going on with this giant neckline. So you can take something like this, which is a book of Celtic charted designs, and this is made for cross stitch specifically, but I use these cross stitch designs for my knitting, and you can see how it's come out here. They come out bigger than in cross stitch basically, so you've got to plan for that the stitches might come out bigger. And then I wanted dragons, which I didn't have the exact one I wanted that I could find. So I designed this one by using graph paper, just as if I was designing a cross-stitch design on the graph paper. I was able to figure out this dragon design on my own and then knit it. So that's something this is something fun that you can do. If you have any sort of cross-stitch designs, you can use them for knitting. Here's a couple other books that I have that are designs that can be used for embroidery, cross stitch, but again, I use them for knitting. This one would be more, most of these are more embroidery type designs. Okay, so I want to come up with a pattern for I want alchemy symbols on the sweater. These are the 3 essentials in alchemy, and if you take the alchemy potions class, you will learn these things. But the 3 essentials are the spirit, the soul, and the body. And this is a symbol for Mercury, which is also symbolizes the spirit, the symbol for sulfur, which also symbolizes the soul, and the symbol for salt, which also symbolizes the body. So I'm going to have these 3 symbols going down the sleeve. That's the plan. So I got to make like my own cross stitch design. So for spirit, let's see, give myself enough room. It's like a big U. Let's see, maybe like this. So there we have the U. And then we'll go straight down. And we want some going across. How much across? Let's see, a little more than that. There we go. So that's the pattern I will use when I'm knitting this on my sleeve. So that's the spirit or Mercury. Now we need a triangle. A little bit of a wide triangle. Let's see if this works. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I want to kind of be in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here is the middle. I think I will add one more, so we have 13. And then it comes to a point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I have an actual middle. Here we go. So this is tricky. It starts curving around, curves around into a little loop. We'll try this, and if I don't like it, I'll switch it. So maybe I'll do that. So it looks like it goes maybe I want that. Hopefully that's good enough and that it'll look good. And then this one's a little easier if you consider drawing a circle easy. You know, this is geometrical, so it's not going to be a perfect circle. And again, I should have done 5 here, so I have a perfect line going through the middle. So I think I'll do that. Have odd numbers going down so that I can have a line come in exactly across the middle. 3 there. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I can go straight across and it's exactly in the middle. So here we have salt, which represents the body. And I have my 3 designs worked out on graph paper so I can knit them to the sleeves of my alchemy sweater. How is this supposed to work exactly? You can try things on while you're still knitting them, because if it seems kind of wonky, you want to be able to fix it. So, yeah, this is just a little weird. I don't know about this. Now it's supposed to be cold shoulder. So there's the cold shoulder, but why is the sleeve like that? So this was originally supposed to be the other cold shoulder, I think. That's still really weird. So, wonder how I can make this work, or if I need to scrap the whole idea. The sleeve is building out kind of strangely. Sometimes some patterns just don't quite work. The bottom part looks good. I like the bottom part. I wonder if there's a way to save the bottom part, scrap the top. Maybe I could just cut it and stitch it into a tank top. I just don't know. Okay, so sometimes you have to recognize when a pattern is just not working, and it's time to do something different. So the bottom part of the sweater is gorgeous. I'd like to keep that. This top side is such a mess. I'm just gonna, instead of stitching, like cutting it and stitching it like fabric, which you can do if it's a simple thing, but this is a big mess, so I might as well preserve all the yarn. Okay, I'm gonna have to just wind it around. So, unfortunately, I did all this knitting that I'm gonna have to undo, but that's okay. I'd rather have the yarn and do it right. So I think what I'm going to do is just undo all the stitching at the top, because the top just doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. I think the pattern I have is not a good pattern. Or, I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, I'm going to just go ahead and undo all these stitches for the whole top part until I get to about the middle, which is where it gets good. And so then my plan is to then find a different pattern that I can use to then knit up from the bottom. Instead, this one was from the top down, but I'm going to start at the good part in the middle and knit up. And I'll use a different sweater pattern, or if I want it to be a tank top, it originally was supposed to be a sweater, so make a new ball here. So sometimes when you're knitting along with me, we're not actually knitting, we are taking apart. But the one good thing about having to take your work apart is that you've learned something. It was fun to knit this, so it's not like it's a huge waste. I enjoyed it, so it's okay. And I'd rather have it be right than have it be so bad that I don't ever wear it, because that would be a waste. So sometimes when you're learning a new skill, you have to rip stuff out and do it again. And that just means you get more practice and better practice and better at it. So I'll be ripping for a while. So this is knit along with me, or today take apart knitting with me, but I figured this is a good chance to answer questions about Burrow Groves. I know some people have some questions about it. It is not Hogwarts. It is not as famous as Hogwarts. It is in the New World and a bit more hidden than Hogwarts, because it is in the forest in the Rocky Mountains. And some people had some questions about the houses in Burrow Groves and what are they and how are they different and all that stuff. And so we actually have the big Burrow Groves book, which explains some of that. But of course you can only get that if you are a student. But I think I can manage to tear out a page from that here and there, make a copy with my wand of some pages of the big book of Burrow Groves that talks about Burrow Groves and all the details about the school. And so once in a while, I think I can, don't tell anybody, but I think I could maybe go secretly get a copy of a page. We'll just call it Lost Pages, and then nobody will know what it's from, and I won't get in trouble. So I think for those of you who join me on my Patreon channel at Burrow Groves, we will have some occasional lost pages as I'm able to make copies, and those will be available for you so you can start reading about Burrow Groves and how it's set up And also, if you do become a student eventually, then you can actually keep a record of the classes you take for first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and all those different things. You will get access to those papers. So the other nice thing about being an ethereal student from the Ether of Burrow Groves, there are different levels on Patreon, and you will get these classes a week earlier than everybody else in the Ether. And also, there'll be some classes that are specifically for those students that are officially part of Burrow Groves. And you can find all of that on Patreon. So, more to come. Let's just put it that way. So this is a second year project, this alchemy sweater, and learning to create your own designs or using cross-stitch patterns for your designs. This is second year knitting. We are about to start a primary preparatory class for those who want to become students but need to prepare. There are some basic skills you should know. And so we are going to be doing some classes of primary prep. And one of those is to learn how to knit so that you can knit your own house scarf. And we'll probably, because I have friends who want the colors from Hogwarts, I think I'll probably do a Hufflepuff scarf to start. But anyway, that's one of the first things, is to learn to knit so that you can knit your own house scarf and, you know, sweaters and different wizarding wear if you'd like. Some people even knit like wand holders and stuff. Or you can use your knitting skills to make some mandrakes, which are a lot of fun, and other such creatures, or mushrooms, or different things. So we can have a lot of fun with the knitting. So knit along with me are these episodes I will do once in a while, where most of the time I actually will be knitting, not taking apart knitting, and we'll also have classes on knitting. So one of the first ones will be knit your real house scarf, and then we'll actually show you how, as a beginner knitting project, knitting a scarf is perfect. And it's something you can use. And you can choose what colors you want to make it, if you want to do it like a Hogwarts scarf, or you could even practice learn by making a Hogwarts scarf, and then later you could end up doing one for Burrow Groves, once you know which house you're sorted into and what your colors are. All right, this seems to be a little bit stuck. I think I'll just cut that. Okay. Now I've got to undo all the knitting on this top of this. This could be challenging. And we're not only going to be doing knitting, of course. There's other primary prep things we need to learn, like how to make a quill pen and how to do some basic calligraphy, how to make a wand. I know that people like to find wizarding shops to get these things from, and that is fine, but sometimes the wizards of old knew how to make all their own supplies as they needed them. And here at Burrow Groves, we believe in following that tradition and at least knowing how. So if you are ever in a situation where you need a feather quill pen to write with ink, or you need your parchment and you're not able to buy it from a wizarding shop, you know how to make your own. It's always good to have those preparatory skills. And so before going to wizarding school, you need to learn some basic things like that. And so we're going to be teaching some classes. And of course, we will also be doing higher level classes eventually, second year, third year, and so forth, on herbology and potions, alchemy, different things like that. All right, I think this is going to take me some time, but I'm going to have to figure out where I can start undoing the stitching, and then I'll be ripping out the whole top of the sweater. Thanks for joining me, and if you're not able to comment on YouTube, you can go to my Patreon page. It's Patreon.com/Burrow Groves, and you can leave comments there. Let me know what classes you might be specifically interested in, and any other questions you might have. Those who are signed up as Patreons at a certain level, I will be answering your questions. And then we're also going to do some other exclusive episodes like Creator's Corner and different things like that. Thanks for joining me today.